CEO of Malaysia Pacific Industries. We are an OSAT company, so a semiconductor OSAT packaging company in Ipoh. I hope most of you know us. I would like to explain you a little bit about the technology breakthrough in electrical vehicles and autonomous vehicles, where we are very strong. Everyone is always surprised that lots of our parts are in cars, mostly in Europeans, Japanese, Koreans, and American cars. And when they come and visit, they always are used to go to Penang or to KL, maybe Johor, but not Ipoh. So for them, it's always surprising that in Ipoh there are so many parts that go to an electrical car. Not only what I will explain today about silicon carbide, but also about sensors. So I will explain you our roadmap. We started 4.5 years ago, where we had our vision that Malaysia Pacific Industries and actually their CARSEM will have 50% of the revenue in automotive. Why we did this is because first thing is automotive better margins. That's definitely where it is. That's why when you look our margins against all the other ones in the OSAT space, we are by far the best in margins, in good times and bad times. Second thing is, if you are in the automotive, it don't change every 6 months the technology, and the prices are not so bad, or not so much in pressure. They are bad, but not so much in pressure, and you don't need to change every 6 months. So a car, when it starts, it will be in the road 3, 4, 5, 6 years until they come with a new really change in the car. Maybe they do a change in the design a little bit, but not really in the car inside. So you have a longer long term in the products inside the car. The next issue is the quality. You really need to perform on the highest standard, and this only few companies can do it. Every time more companies are more capable to do it, but to be really good in automotive, you really can have zero ppm, so you really need to have a good quality. Example, one of our sensors go to airbags. Imagine if one airbag would not work, then would be big trouble. So it needs to be really good. This is why we said we will go to the automotive. And the last thing is really, I understand the automotive. I come from 25 years of semiconductor and automotive, so I should understand the whole community and where it goes. And we saw that electrical cars is nothing new. And actually, I will start sharing now. You actually see, on the first about electrical cars, there's a lot of people speak. These are numbers. Analysts like numbers. It is there where it goes, definitely. Today, in 2050, they say there will be 3.5 billion cars on the road that are electrical cars, against now 1.4 billion cars. Sorry, those are cars. But you will see a big shift to electrical cars from the traditional that is today diesel and so on. So this is coming. Everyone saw it coming. There are lots of factors. One is the carbon emission. Another one is the rules of the government. Another one is the younger generation likes more the electrical cars because of green technology and so on. And I will not come here and discuss now if really electrical car is more green. I have my doubts, but it's where it goes. And actually, you could see it start with hybrid, then we went to plug-in hybrid vehicles, and then in the future, now there are some, it's only battery electrical vehicles. So there are quite a lot, and a lot more are coming now very fast from a lot of competitors of Tesla or BYD, that are the two biggest players in this moment. BYD is a Chinese, Tesla is an American. So why I said electrical cars is nothing new. You can see on the right side there was a car in the 90s, I think, that was $1,000, and electric car is nothing new. So only thing is the technology actually then in Germany, they were focusing really on diesel, and that's why it went really fast up, the diesel car. And this is very complicated. If you come from the automotive, such I am, the engine is really a complicated beast to understand. The electrical car is actually quite easy, very easy. It's a battery and of course with some connection, but it's quite easy to do. So electrical cars is now definitely coming in faster and faster, and I have done some slides where you can see why. So here is one first slide. Everyone is speaking, but I must tell you also 4 years ago, everyone was speaking, but honestly, I didn't saw a big change. So I remember having lots of discussion with Volkswagen, with Audi, with BMW, with Kia, with Hyundai, and they were all speaking, but of course, they were still doing a lot of money with diesel cars. And you need also to understand, they do a lot of money with the after sales. So when you have a problem of anything, you go to the garage and then they sell parts, and there they do a lot of money with a lot of profit. So electrical cars for them was the right thing to say, but they were not really big plans to do. But now the last 1 year, so honestly, when started this COVID, started last year in February in China, and then March impacted the whole world. Everyone starts speaking more electrical cars and not speaking real plans. And what we see is the demands. So if you look our shares, not the share, but you look our revenue, you will understand immediately. This is only the beginning. How really serious the customers are. And we are not there only the silicon carbide, what I would explain you, that is for powering the battery, but we have also a lot of sensors, and electrical cars needs a lot more sensors also. So we started 4 years ago working on silicon carbide. We are the only one OSAT in the world that has the silicon carbide. Why? We are the only one that is packaging for Cree. So if you go Cree, you will see there the stock exchange in the States. They work on silicon carbide from 1986, have a lot of patents, and they are really the only ones that really understand today the silicon carbide, and we are doing for them the packaging. If you go to the share price, you will see they come from LED. I was before in LED. I was before in Seoul Semiconductors, CO. So I know them very good. They were my competitors. I have tried to acquire actually 3 times. It was called Wolfspeed, the silicon carbide unit, but yeah, we never could get to an agreement. So I really understand what silicon carbide can do, and the technology is evolving. And if you look at the share price, they went to the roof. I think from $20-something. I think now they are 113. And it's not because if you look at their numbers, they don't have so nice balance sheets as we have. We have no debts and so on. You will see a lot of debts. You will see not a lot of profits, but you see that the share price went up huge, from 20-something to 100-something. It's huge. Why? Because the technology is really amazing. It's really amazing. When you really come from semiconductors, such I come, and you understand, it will be a game changer. It's a game changer at this moment. And I will explain later why. So the technology of silicon carbide, it's very efficient. So I will not try to speak here with languages of a semiconductor. So I will try to do it very easy to explain. I was thinking the last days how to explain to analysts. And imagine you have an ice cube, a big ice cube, okay? And you have 2 wafers. I hope you know what is a wafer, where the chips are. Big wafers, these wafers. You put 1 wafer here, 1 wafer on the other side, and then you put the hands. and the ice cube will melt fast because our hand are warm, transmits so fast through the wafer that the ice cube will melt. If you have, for example, gallium nitride wafer, that is what we are using today, nothing will happen. Ice cube will not melt. So this is how efficient is silicon carbide. It transmits very fast. So imagine when you charge a battery, it will transmit very fast the energy. And this is why it is so efficient, that is why it's a breakthrough technology that is long there. It's not, oh, it was yesterday done, but only few people have it today. And I repeat, we are doing the packaging. Yes, in the near future, and it's actually happening. I see in China, government has put a new wafer company on silicon carbide. So they are coming very fast. They also understand. Lucky enough, because we are the only one that understand how to package. They came also to us in China, so I'm very happy. They have not started, so no excitement about turnover. They have started to construct the fab, but it will be online, I'm sure, in 1 year, 1.5 years. So it's also a good thing. But of course, Cree, where we are working, it's there. Now, about the electrical vehicles, I think everyone speaks, but for me, speaking is one thing. For me, seeing is believing, and I see really that now all the players, the big players, are really serious. So if I'm looking the Mercedes when they were speaking, and now really how they push 60 new models out, it's amazing. If I'm looking Volkswagen, how they push 19 models out, it's really promising. And of course, this is only the beginning, of course. If you only have 1,000 model, 1,000, nothing, but this will go up and up and up. So electrical cars is really starting, really getting in a big business. And of course, there is silicon carbide. And do not forget, the silicon carbide today is small. It's such the vaccine about COVID-19. You know, you start, and that's why, or if everyone would like to have it, you cannot deliver because you don't have the production. So you need to have production. Actually, Cree is building up a new facility in the States, actually in New York, not New York City, around 2 hours from New York. So it's very exciting. There will be a lot more capacity, but of course, they will be not the only ones. I see a lot of companies are now looking in this silicon carbide. So I really think the big up such, you know, when Tesla started, it started slow, and now they do 500,000 cars. 2023 will be the time when this thing will get really big. Until now, it's getting okay, but you know, imagine if you have 500,000 cars and you sell one of this chip is 500,000 chips. So it's not a big volume for silicon carbide. But of course, this is cars. Imagine you have a phone. If you have a battery, so if you have, for example, I have now this iPhone 12 with the MagSafe, you put here the battery and can charge and can be very thin, can charge in 2-3 minutes. Who will not buy it? So that's the technology. So it's a really great technology. Now, you see that governments around the world are investing now very much in charging, in the infrastructure and so on. And you can see it how it is done in China. I'm always surprised with China. Honestly, I'm not a politician, so I will not speak about politics, but I'm really surprised in China. I remember 5 years ago, when I was in Suzhou, the time in Shanghai, in Suzhou there were all these motorbikes, oil with diesel motorbikes. 3 years ago, the government decided from one day to the next, on electrical. Now everyone has only electrical, and it is really zero noise. When I'm in, okay, I'm now in Ipoh, but when I'm in KL, it's so noisy, the motorbikes, nothing in China. So it can be done if there is a willingness, and now the governments are really willing to do. So you see, United Kingdom have decided to ban in 2028, I think, all the cars. Madrid has also decided to ban. Germany also. Now you see also that Daimler will put all their factories that are not electrical outside from Germany. So a lot of things are going on in this space. Now, what I said before, the companies, so our customers are very serious now on it. Before I saw a lot of speaking. Now you see here the numbers, example Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, and so on, how they see their electrical cars, how much will be the turnover of it. So it's really getting serious. Before, there were a lot of speaking, but not really concrete plans. Now there are really concrete plans. And I tell you, I worked in Germany, I worked in Siemens, and I worked in Osram. I was there the worldwide VP of sales. So I tell you one thing, lots of ex-colleagues of me work in automotive in such companies, and they got now KPIs to achieve this. So it's really serious. So the competition is now starting to have a lot of electrical cars on the market, and very fast. Okay, this is a slide that you can then look at and analyze. It's about new passengers cars in EV, and all time a little bit saying the same thing what I said before. Now, it's not only electrical cars, it's also the autonomous cars, the autonomous vehicles. So if any one of you drives a Tesla, he knows. If he drives a S-Class, to the 20 kilometers, he knows. If he has a LiDAR inside, he knows. It's happening, it will happen. This will be a lot of people. My father always tells me, 79 years old, I always speak science fiction. But now he sees that there is electrical car, and he loves an electrical car, because when he starts, the electrical car goes very fast. So the start is very fast. And I tell him autonomous driving will be there. And that's logical because we have the technology. So we are today in level 2, partial automation. We will go to level 5. I don't know when, it depends. Everything is such an electrical car. There was the technology there. It is everything there, but of course companies were doing money, such as I said before, with spare parts, with the diesel. Why? To kill a cash cow. So now, because of competition, Tesla is really growing hugely. BYD in China is amazing. I don't know if you know BYD. So everyone speaks about Tesla. I tell you, BYD is a lot more interesting to see. If you look at the trucks, it's amazing. If you look at the buses or electrical, it's amazing. So a lot of players, new players will come. And one thing, the entry barrier of electrical cars is very low. That's another thing. Because you see, a diesel car is really, really difficult to do. Electrical car, chassis, and then you have a battery, some connections, that's it. Of course, if you want to do it really nicely, you have a lot of sensors inside and so on. So I don't know, I have a 2-year-old son. I bought him for 800 ringgit this car where he can drive a little bit. It's electrical. That's electrical car. And it goes really fast. It goes 15 kilometers per hour, this car. And I can actually guide it if he wants. It has a lot of fun. So that's electrical car. So then, of course, chassis is important, the airbags and so on, of course. But I mean, the entry barrier to do the electrical car is not high. Now, about us, about Malaysia Pacific Industries, a little bit about own marketing. So we have Carsem on one side, that is 96% of our revenue. This is the OSAT, what we have here in Ipoh and in Suzhou. I can also tell you we are full. Lucky enough or not lucky enough, because you see our EDR 100 to 0. We invested during pandemic. So it's always easy to speak after an event. And of course, it's very easy to do the right things when you have cash. You see that we have 943 million and we have no debt. So we invested actually in April our second level. So we have one level, we built up a second level, and 1st of October, we start putting the new machines in. So very good actually for taking this next wave that we are taking. So that was really cool because every one of competitors, also customers, suppliers, they were all going down and actually really controlling costs, and we were investing. So that's cool thing also. We had capacity and we could take this capacity, and that's honestly why we are growing so much. I cannot speak anything about Q2. My lawyer told me another time I'm in silent period. I started silent period on Monday, so I want to be very clear. I will not speak about Q2, but I can only tell you this. You saw our last quarters. During pandemic, we are a very good company. Why? Because we still give profit. Lots of companies were in big losses. We still get profit. During the pandemic, we controlled our costs, but not really heavily. Such as we invested, and we were doing very good. Pandemic is still here, but our Q4, that is Q2, our Q2 was a growth. Our Q3, so Q3, that is Q3 last year, so Q1, we start always in July, was a big growth. So you can imagine it will not enter. We are very pleased, and you will see very pleasing the next quarters, and I think actually years, because we have the right technology. Honestly, you need to build up. We have done the right things in quality, in automation. We show you then later. Also, we had 4.5 years ago 13,500 people. Now we are 7,000 something people with 60 to 70% more products. So because of automation, we invested in lots of things to be ready, and we were ready, and now. Now we can take all these great things that are coming. And of course, life don't goes up, it goes up and a little bit down. But such I showed, we showed also the downs. We are always profitable and actually doing not so bad against all the other ones. On the left side of your screen, you see, I have then a slide one. That is the only OSAT, so backend OSAT, full automized line in the world. So if you go to a front end, you will see a lot of automized. Front end is where you do actually the wafers. There is a lot of automation and so on. On backend, because there are lots of different machines, there are wire bonders, and so it's very difficult. So we needed to put our own team. So we have an automation team, and our own software, because we need to put our own sensors on the machines and so on. This one is full optimized. This one is not used for silicon carbide, that you know. This one is used for sensor. Very exciting, very, very cool stuff. That's why also we get a lot of sensor business here in Ipoh. The silicon carbide that you also understand is in this area. Actually, I'm here in S side, so we have M side and S side. It is full protected. So I tell you, it was so serious that the government, so they sent special officers from the states here to cross-check, and they are only allowed few people to go in. Of course, the people that are from this company and our employees, they needed to go through different screenings and so on. And there is only for them. So it's a space, full cover only for them. And then we have the highest security for going in such example. Scanning, you really need to go through a test. Not only a test about what we do in semiconductor, but also a test about if you will be a crook or not, and so on. So really lots of testing before you can touch a silicon carbide package. So here where it goes today, it goes there in the battery, powering the battery. It's only the beginning, and imagine it's not only automotive. I can also tell you one of the chips goes to the NASA, to the spaceship, because and then to the satellite, of course, because you need energy all the time, and with the solar panel, a little bit of light, it is very efficient. So there will be a lot more technologies and products that will come out of the silicon carbide. We are doing also silicon carbide, and we are very strong. I don't know if you know, we are very strong in servers. Why we were doing so good also during pandemic is we have a portfolio that is well managed, I would say, not because I'm the CEO, but we changed. We went out from mobile businesses. So automotive, yes, was not really helping us last year, honestly, because the diesel cars went down. You know all this, so they helped. But why we could still do okay is because we are very strong in servers. So because of the whole pandemic, iCloud, the whole server farms, home working, homeschooling, home. So you need a lot of servers. And I will not start now with Bitcoin, okay? I know everyone asks me, Manuel, Bitcoin? Yes, we also sell the Bitcoin. But what we do is we do the chip, the power chip on the server. And we are very strong, really, really strong. And I will not say we are the strongest because I don't know. On silicon carbide, I can tell you because the technology, there's only one player today really that has the, so I can't tell you. Here, I cannot tell you because customers are Infineons and STs and Texas Instruments and Renesas. So there are so many, and they will not give me how much they buy from me. But I tell you one thing, in the servers, I am more efficient without the silicon carbide. I have not put until now their silicon carbide. The power segment, so the chip that I have today is a copper clip chip. I'm 0.001% more efficient than the other ones. Now, don't sound really nice, 0.001%, but when you have a server farm, I can save per server, because these are the big servers and big server farms that get very hot. I can save $5,000. So they have 50, 60, 70,000 of such servers. Imagine, make your calculation. It's a lot of money. Imagine if I put, we are doing now, working, we are doing research and development on changing this this package on a silicon carbide. Wow, that will be a big saving. So very strong on servers, on high servers. So not on the mid servers, not on the low server, not a low server where you have at home, or mid servers where you see sometimes when you go, to small and medium enterprises. I'm really strong on the high servers, okay? So then we are very strong on 5G. And I know it's another time a nice buzzword. Everyone speaks, is what my mother says. You buy a iPhone 12, yes, you can do 5G, but you cannot do 5G because I'm in Malaysia, no 5G. So I understand, but you see, if I'm looking China, and we gave the first 5G set boxes, 4,000, 1.5 years ago, and they installed them in Beijing. I will never forget. It was really emotional. It was they installed there in Beijing the 4,000 set box, and it's really amazing. The technology is really amazing. How fast it is, and it's great. So 5G will be there. There's no discussion. So we are doing 5G also power. So we are really good in power. We are really good there in the TVS, and we are very good there in the sensor also. But need some sensor, but most is power. So we are very, very strong there. Now, in sensors, I don't know if you know that Carsen is really good in sensors. This is all the sensors that we are doing. So a lot of people don't realize how many sensors we are doing. And honestly, I'm very proud. I'm not Malaysian. I'm Spanish Swiss. But I'm very happy and proud to work for the Malaysian company, because everyone is always shocked when I tell them, yeah, oh, you have a BMW 5. Ah, yeah, the impact comes from us, the sensor. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, wow, I didn't know. The full tank sensor, I cannot say what cars, because there are some I can't say. The electrical car that will come from 2 German companies are from Carsen. Oh, really? Yeah. So I'm very proud. We have an amazing, strong sensor team here in Ipoh that everyone is always surprised. Yes, in Ipoh, you will see a lot of more sensors going on with electrical cars. So the car, will be not only for infotainment and so on. The car will be a next home if it will be autonomous. So a lot more sensors will be inside. And I only taught you now 2. So you see all the sensors, not that we put all the sensors that exist. There exist a lot more sensors, but this is the sensors that we are doing now. Of course, one of the sensors, one maybe can cost 5 cents, the other one only 2 cents. So, and do not forget, we don't do the sensor. Right? The sensor is doing our customer or our supplier. We do the package for this sensor. So you need to imagine, this I also need to explain, is you have Coca-Cola, you give me the liquid, and I make you the bottle. Okay, but of course, if the liquid needs to be, example, vaccination needs to be below 20 degrees, you need to have the right package with the right connection and so on. So this is what we are doing. Or I do it in a different way. If you're a human being, you give me the brain, I connect the brain to the heart, to all the other circuits that the human being can live. This is what we are doing. Okay. Now, about automation, I told you about this is really also, I must say, this is what helps us honestly to have all these profits that we have, these margins that we have, and that in bad times we are also still doing very good. Or if the turnover goes really down, because we had visual inspection, a lot of people, now we have only machines that are doing. The smart production line, what I told you, we have flip chip inline system. So we reduced from 13,500 people to 7,000 something people, growing, doing a lot more packages. And of course, I must tell you also, I always write this in my LinkedIn. So if you want to have more information about what we are doing, I have near every day or every second day, I put something in my LinkedIn about what we are doing, what is the new thing, where goes the new market. So if you are interested also to understand where goes the next and so on, I put a lot of things when I have time in my LinkedIn. What this automation helped is, you see, in Malaysia and in Ipoh, it's really difficult to get people. That's first thing. Second thing is foreign workers. Every time it's more difficult to get. Third thing is really a machine, if it's very efficient, will not make a mistake such a human being. So this is the right thing. The only issue here, and why other ones are not so fast, they cost money. And not every time the return on investment is in 1 year, 2 years, and so on. So you cannot think short. You need to think really long term. You need to have a vision and think in long term. This is the only way how you survive in this tough semiconductor where materials goes up and prices, they squeeze you. You really need to be really good in technology and automation, and having great people. We have really an amazing team in Suzhou, in Ipoh, and in Penang. So that's it. That's the story about silicon carbide, electrical cars, how we see the world, how it is changing, and about Malaysia Pacific Industries, how great company to invest and still gives dividends in good times and bad times. Everyone got dividends. And not only this, I'm very proud and happy. I hope you also look to invest always in a sustainable company, but also a company that is fair. During the pandemic, when it started, we were one of the first ones. In Ipoh, we are the biggest employer. We immediately gave masks. We immediately gave a lot of money in sense of masks, kitchens, so food, and so on. But not only this, we paid every salary. We didn't took anyone out. We paid all the salaries. We paid all the bonuses. That was last year. And do not forget, it was the close down period in March. We gave actually our bonuses on March, where lots of shareholders asked me if I'm done, why I should do this. Exactly, we must do this because we can afford it, and that's my responsibility as a manager. Is not only to please the shareholders, it's also please my employees. Or I'm not my employees, so I am the employer of them. So to help the team and to help people. We are also a Malaysian company, and I must tell you, a very successful Malaysian company. So please also invest, and your clients should invest in a Malaysian company that is actually selling zero to Malaysia. We sell zero to Malaysia. We sell everywhere to the world, and we are competitive, such we can show. And one thing everyone asks me always, you speak so nicely that you pay, that you reduced from 13,500 people to 7,000 something. No, I didn't reduce. We didn't kick one person out, never. But our industry has so much turn that people go and prefer to work in a bar, a restaurant, in Tesco, than in a clean room where you need to take all your makeup up, you cannot smoke. You cannot have your mobile because it's a really clean room, so you cannot allow anything. And a lot of people don't want to work in such an environment, unless the new generation. But we didn't take anyone out. The reduction was people were going. So that's it. That's the story about MPI. If you have questions, I'm really happy to answer. If I didn't say what I should have said, then I'm sorry for the ones that invited me. I hope yes. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Manuel, for an insightful presentation. We will now open the Q&A. I'm already seeing some questions in the chat box, but for those who wish to ask questions in person, you can raise your hand and unmute yourselves. But alternatively, you can also post it in the chat box and I'll read them out. So I'll read out the first question from Carol. So good morning, Manuel. Could you give some color on the shortage of chips in the auto sector, and how is MPI benefiting from this situation?
Okay, we are not benefiting. We're starting to. So you see, chip is what I said before. We are an offset company. So my customers are actually the ones that make the chips. So they make wafers. I hope you know what is a wafer. If not, come to Ipoh, we will show you. It's a wafer thing. So we cut the chips and then we put the chips in packages. So if I don't get wafers, I cannot do the chip. So if they have a problem, I have a problem. But I must tell you, automotive, why they have a problem is, you remember last year, COVID, the sales of cars went really down. So they were selling only what they had in the warehouse. Then they were not asking for any demand, not to us, to my customers. So they didn't put forecasts. So they didn't put forecasts, they didn't put machines, they didn't put people, they put chemicals, all and so on. And now the semiconductor is booming. So there's no equipment available. Lucky enough, we invested during pandemic. So that's the issue what they have now in the automotive. And I tell you, it will be not solving fast for them. But for me, it's not. If I don't get the chips, it's not that I benefit. But I must tell you, I have a very strong pipeline. And my pipeline is done long time ago. It's not this short term what they have. This issue is more customers, so people that do wafers with their customers, not affecting me, honestly. But this will not be solved fast, I tell you, Carol. So it will be not solved fast because there's not enough. A demand is higher than offer. So they didn't order, they have a problem with their customers. Okay?
All right, moving on to the next question. Just from Jeremy, just wanted to ask, who are the frontliners for EV in China? Who is leading the market in China, basically? And how far-fetched is autonomous driving in the region of Southeast Asia?
Yeah. So the company, there's one wafer company that is trying to do the same thing as Cree. Cannot say the name here. Why? Because we are in discussion, final discussion, that I take over all his OSAT, and I don't want that my neighbor here in Ipoh goes and screw my nice, or anyone that screws this amazing deal. So I'm in discussion, but yes, there is this one, and there will be a lot more. It's logical. It's nothing. Is when you have a technology that there's demand. So I would need to say, and I cannot say the name, but you know immediately, this American company that I can't say the name is Cree, is selling his silicon carbide to this American company that is very successful in electrical car. So, you know, they will come. And silicon carbide, you need to understand, lots of patents are not more there. So you know, there's always a limit of 20 years. So you can start. The problem is, you really need to evolve. So you can start with one thing, but then you really need to evolve, and that's the difficult part for them. So they will, if Cree is with example 5, the one in China starts with 1. But you know, the Chinese are very fast and smart, and they have money. So if you have money and you have the doctors that can do it, so the engineers, then you can really shortcut the whole thing. So it will be there. And then about autonomous driving, honestly, you see, this is lots of regulations, and I don't know. You heard before Allianz about regulations on car. You see now, unfortunately, from Malaysia, the Hertzby, Japanese manufacturers, there they go away. So I don't know. I don't know what will be the regulation, Jeremy. I hope I answered your question, Jeremy.
All right, we'll open the questions to the floor if anyone wants to unmute, or yeah, if anyone wants to unmute and ask a question. If not, there's another question as well in the chat box. It's from Tiong Jin. Tiong Jin asks, can you give us an idea of the size of silicon carbide in terms of percentage of MPI's first quarter revenue?
It's small. It is small. It is small. It is small. I honestly have no idea. If you ask me, I don't know what is the percentage, but it's very small. So to not forget, this technology is starting, and you know, it's not so easy. So you need to have. So I invested 4.5 years discussing, and so then 3 years the people. So it's different machines. It's a whole different setting. So I think when it goes really up, really starting, it will be 2022 and 2023. So it's the right time to go in.
All right, thank you. There's a question. I see Levis who has raised his hand. He can ask his question. Levis.
Hi, Manu. Thanks for the call. I remember you mentioned eventually you want to have 6 lines for the silicon carbide or Cree, right? How many lines are you at now? And yeah, how many lines? 8.
3.
3. Oh,
3. So
and 6 lines will be by this year, is it?
You know, my problem is equipment.
Okay, so is there any target timeline for when you want to?
I don't know. It's not really in this moment. It's not really volume. It's really equipment. About equipment. So and people, you really need to have different kind of people that know how to build up this. So yeah, step by step. But you also know that if you go too fast, also bad, then you cannot be sustainable.
Okay, understand. Just like you mentioned, by 2022 or 2023, you'll see silicon carbide being more meaningful, right, in terms of contribution or potential.
Yes.
What kind of absolute revenue are we talking about?
I honestly do not know. I've never done this calculation. So the only thing what I see is Cree is now building up his next wafer company, big wafer fab, what I told you in New York State. So I think they will be in 1 year done. Then it's not. You see, it's not the problem. Is not the sales. The problem is the volume. If you don't have wafer, you cannot do packaging. So I don't know when they have ready, we can be ready. But in
okay,
the
maybe put it this way. For each line that you invest for this silicon carbide, what kind of investment are we looking at?
Millions, but I will not tell you the number. You know that I don't give such numbers.
Okay, no problem. And there are multiple Chinese silicon carbide players coming up, right? Are you
not only Chinese, also Europeans?
Okay. Are you trying to court any new customers there from either China or Europe?
All are coming to us because we are the only one that is packaging it. So we are in negotiation, such a total with this one, because this one got 1.4 billion US dollars from the Chinese government, 1.4 billion. So they have started constructing the fab, but there are lots of startups that they are coming to us because on packaging, we are the only ones today that are packaging the silicon carbide.
Okay, understand. Thank you so much, Manu.
You're welcome, Lavis.
All right, we'll be taking the next question. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand or put it in the chat box. We have another question from Tiong Jane from M Funds. He's wondering, how far is silicon carbide application in smartphones?
Far away. You see, please, silicon carbide, I know it started in 1986, but very low and so on. So imagine what will happen. There will come so many startups on this silicon carbide for anything what you need to power. It's the starting. So for mobile phones, I'm sure there are some people that are thinking, people that left the company doing with some venture capital, I'm sure, but they're still far away. I didn't heard anything.
All right, we have a question from Wehan from East Spring. He's asking, could you remind us of the effective floor space expansion in Suzhou by doing 50,000 square foot expansion from a base of 600,000 square foot? Yeah, could you just remind us of the floor space expansion for Suzhou second floor?
Okay, wait, I need to ask. I don't remember. What is what comes to 600,000?
600,000 floor space in Suzhou.
Up and down or only one?
Only one.
So if it is 600,000, we have done the whole thing, blah blah, for 60% of the the 600,000. So 60% we have done, the rest we have not done. But we will do, such it looks, we will start doing it this year, I don't know, March, April, because we need to hold the whole space up. Actually, I can also tell you, I'm looking for a new site. China is booming. I can also tell you, I'm not giving any numbers of Q2, I mean silent period, but this is all. This I always said before. So we are full. We expanded. We are full. We are expanding another time, and such it looks. We need a new land in China.
All right, we have the next questions from Ranesh Magendran. He asked, could you elaborate on the synergies or advantages of silicon carbide against graphene?
Very good. So you see, graphene is an amazing material, but nothing to do with what we can use in semiconductor. Can use some, but it's not. It's a different way. So graphene you can use, but it's very efficient also, but you cannot get the properties out of it, such if you use silicon carbide. Because graphene comes from a totally different way. You know, silicon carbide comes from gallium nitride. So you actually use still the gallium nitride, and then you build on top of it. Graphene, not. It's a totally different thing. It's such if you would ask me, gold and diamond. Yeah, both are very good, but different thing. So no synergy.
All right, we'll be taking the next question. If anyone wants to raise their hand or drop in the chat box. Okay, there's one question in the chat box. It's from Ching Po. Can you share more on which countries are leading the EV market in terms of their market share? Market share of EVs.
Yeah, so I'm honestly, I'm not a specialist of EV, but I'm sure there are lots of things. But I tell you, in Europe, all the Nordic countries, so Norway, Sweden, so they are really in the EV. All these are really in. I can tell you, United Kingdom, you know that London is pushing out, so United Kingdom is going there also. How fast, I don't know. I see that China EV will be, I tell you now that I don't need to be very smart. Why? Because I saw it with the motorbikes. And I was really astonished. I saw lots of things in my life, and every one of you travel and you see actually more than me because you're an analyst, you speak with so many CEOs and so on. But what they have done in China from switching really in 1 month to electric for the motorbikes, I was astonished. So there will be really, really fast. So I think EV, the most important market in the next years will be definitely China. And this is where I also see that all the Europeans manufacturers are focusing mostly is this market. But there are also a lot of other ones, such as I told you in Europe, definitely the Nordics, they are pushing hard on it. I don't see United States growing really fast. I don't see South America. I don't see Africa. I don't really see Southeast Asia. I'm always surprised why Singapore, that is so small, they could be so efficient. I don't see it in, but I don't know, maybe it's regulations, maybe there are other things. Okay, I hope I answered your question. But if you are really interested to know, I know I have a lot of papers and so on. So drop me a message. If you don't have my email, drop me through LinkedIn a message. And then Rohit, that do all the things, he can send you this whole lists, change every week or every, how much they sell, because it's quite easy to see. This is nothing speculation. I always go and look how many cars are sold and then are really on the street, and that's regulated, because when you go to the street with a car, you need to have your plate, so it's regulated. So these numbers are not faking. These are real numbers, so we can get them. That's no issue. You tell me, and yeah, okay.
All right, maybe we'll just take the last couple of questions. The first question is from Jun Yip, who is from EPF. He wonders, does MPI have exposure to gallium nitride semiconductors?
Yes, of course. But do not forget, I'm always here. I don't do the wafer. Gallium nitride you need to do for the wafer. I don't do wafers. I get the wafer, and then I cut the wafer, I connect the wafer, I make maybe a module with the wafer, I put the wafer in a package, and then when you have to package, when you open any form behind, that's what the black thing with the connector, and then this is what we do. I don't do the brain inside. So example, when you see now Apple has the new M1. This is now not Intel, this is Apple's own patent. This is the brain. Then he needs to be connected. I'm only doing the connection. So I use gallium nitride, yes, but actual gallium nitride you need to use on the wafer side. I connect them. I hope this you understand. I don't have because what I don't like is to put people in wrong things. Yes, we are in the semiconductor, but I don't have the wafer. The wafer my customers are doing. I hope this is clear. Yes. Okay.
All right. Any final questions before we end this session? Oh, Levis has raised his hand again, so I think he'll ask his question.
Hi, Manu. Sorry, quick one since nobody in the chat box. Just continue from Carol's question, right? The shortage of computer chips, is it at wafer level or or where is the bottleneck?
Wafer level. You see.
Wafer level.
Yeah. So you see. Try to imagine. Go back, and Levis. Go back 1 year ago. You remember when automotive was not selling any cars? You remember the drop, right? 70% and so on. So then the customers, their suppliers asked them, oh, how you see the forecast? And they said, oh, we don't see forecast. Actually, we will not buy anything. Happened also to us. You remember that some went to zero for 2-3 months. So they went to zero. So there are no forecasts. So you don't put the forecasts in your system. And the system, normally you need 16 weeks. But you need machines, you need people, you need the materials and so on. So if you don't have it in the system, you cannot produce. And then came all the China back and so on, the whole gadgets and server was this, so it came really up. Now they have no machines to do it. They don't have machines because the machines, all the machine equippers, they have lead times. Some have 8 months now, 8 months. Yeah. And they will not start now with lockdowns, right? You know what means with lockdowns. It will be not efficient. So that's the issue. There's not enough wafers. And I spoke yesterday with a friend of me that works in Stuttgart. They will close some factories for 2 weeks. So they don't have the chips.
I see. I remember, I think 4 to 5 years ago, I think back in 2016 or 2017, there was a wafer shortage, and some of your customers weren't able to secure wafers as well, right? So, in turn, you were slightly affected. I mean, adversely affected because you don't have wafers consigned to you to process, right? So, will that be the case this time around?
No, I tell you why. You see. Lucky or not lucky, first we change the portfolio, but I tell you why, very easy. Have you seen me, you have me seen only going down, really down in my Q3, because it was lockdown, you remember?
Yeah.
My Q4 was really good, but there was still a lot of lockdown. My Q1 was spectacular, I will not speak of Q2, So why? Because I'm in the, I was on this time, and my portfolio, my projects were different. I was in the servers, I was on the computers, I was on the electrical cars, I was on the 5G. So it's not really affecting me because I didn't have this. If they would not come to me and ask me, oh, can you do it? Oh, that would be on top what I have. But I tell you, I'm full. So
Yeah. Okay.
so it's not affecting me at all. It would affect me. Then I would not be so positive, right? Then because now you speak, the news are now, but this happened actually 2 months ago. So everyone that's affecting is happening 2 months ago. Then
Okay.
they were trying to take from the warehouse, but now no more warehouse.
Okay, understand. Thank you so much, man.
It's not today, this happened 4 or 5 months ago when they saw, but now it's really affecting the last two months.
Okay, thank you so much, Mano. Thank you.
Well,
All right. Just a final question from Carol. Are wafer producers ramping up production now, and what sort of time frame will it take to ease the supply bottlenecks?
You see, I repeat, the problem is machines. It's not so easy to put the wafer, or if you have the space, and so you need the machines. It is not so easy, so you need to get the machines. The lead times are huge. Because do not forget, now it's really a different, every time it's a different. This semiconductor, when you are so many years such me in this semiconductor, it's really every time you still have new things to learn. Now the Chinese are buying huge, not now, the last, when the trade war started, or technical war, 1 year ago. So they are building their own wafers. So they asked all these wafer products, machines for them. So all these people were producing for them, and now comes on top, everyone is asking, oh, I need more, but there's no available. So I tell you, machines is a big bottleneck, and I don't know, I honestly do not know how fast it will be. This you need to ask them, I don't know.
All right, I guess that concludes our session for today. Thank you so much, Manuel, as well as Rohit, for your time.
Okay, we wrap up today's presentation. For those who have questions but did not manage to ask them, we can help to forward them to the management of the companies and get back to you. The presentation slides can be forwarded to you after the end of this session. Thank you once again for the participation. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.